Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Cantey, and this is another episode of Living Enlightened Every Day. Today, we're exploring how to create the life you love, a life that you are passionate about living in this wonderful new year. I'm Elizabeth Cantey, and I help people love their life and live their passion. It's what makes me passionate. And today we're exploring how to create a life you love in 2024. It is a new beginning, as they say. I invite you, as you listen to this video or watch this, that you just take a moment, tune into yourself, and see how you are being. Are you being open to new ideas, open to new possibilities, open to a new expression of who you are in this world, and open to creating a life you love and are passionate about? Because how we are being is how we perceive. What we will see comes out of that. For many of us, the new year brings an opportunity to look back and assess how we've been living. What's been working, what hasn't, what makes us cringe about what we've done in this past year, and what makes us celebrate. A new year represents an opportunity to look back and assess how we've been living in the old year, to assess what has worked and what hasn't. Have I been a good parent, a good partner, a good employee? Have I been honoring my commitments or achieving my goals? Was I able to find my peace of mind, my love, and my joy in the conditions of this past year? We look at the people in our lives, our friend groups, our family, our support systems, how we've adapted to the economic conditions, the climbing interest rates, the real estate market. Did we do all that we could do? Have we been all that we could be? And is there something I can do moving forward to have an even better next year? We do that wonderful process called making our New Year's resolutions. Well, I have a little take on this. I hope you'll stay with me and check it out. It is up to us for sure to make this new year better because we create. We are creative beings. We create with our word. We we think and we speak and we write and we declare what we wish to happen in this new year. Instead of a New Year's resolution, I would call them New Year's declarations. We're declaring how we wish to be in this coming year based on what we're looking at, how we're assessing this past year. And it's always good to remember that we can't count on anything out there changing and adapting to make our lives better. We're not counting on the economic conditions changing to favor us in particular. The interest rates coming down just for us and our loan that we took out last year. Counting on all the things out there, all the people, all the relationships out there. Instead, we turn within to what we can count on, and that is the integration of spirit, mind, and body. We're not going to look out there for our good. Our good begins here, right now, in this moment, when we declare it so, and with our resolve to change things, we become the change that we want to see in our lives. And it is, for me and for many others, evidently, a great time to really assess the changes that we want to be in our lives. We don't create the weather, but we create how we respond to it. We don't create the changes in the real estate market, the stock market, the interest rates, but we get to create how we respond to it. And we get to create the changes we wish to see. And I, for one, if you've been following me at all, I'm ready to create some changes in my life. I have been really just sitting with these questions of what has worked, what's been good, what's been excellent, and what have I kind of fallen back into? What patterns or conditioning have I allowed myself to fall back into? So I'm drawn, as so many others are drawn, to making these New Year's declarations. It does beg the question, though, why are so many people not able to, even hold on to their New Year's resolutions for even a short amount of time? Why don't New Year's resolutions work for so many of us? Forbes reported that less than 25% of people actually stay committed to their resolutions after just 30 days, and only 8% accomplish them in this coming year. Why do we fail? What's going on behind this? And this question reminds me of a story about an old monk. Of course it does. An old monk and a young seeker. A young spiritual seeker came looking for enlightenment and moved to the village of an old holy man, an old saint. And one evening, this old saint was sitting in the doorway of his hut at sunset. The old man's dog was stretched out, lying across the threshold, and the young seeker asked him an earnest question. "Why is it, Abba," he said, "that so many seekers come to this holy village with the greatest intentions? They want to pray, they want to learn, they want to become one with God. They want enlightenment. They want what you have. But then they leave after only a month or 2 or 6 months at the most. Very few make it to a year, while others, like you, intent upon knowing the truth, stay for a lifetime." Well, the old saint smiled and says, "Let me tell you a story," like old saints do. "One day I was sitting here in the late afternoon, like I am now, and my old dog was laying here across the threshold, like he is now, and suddenly this big white rabbit leapt out in front of us and ran across the yard. We couldn't believe our eyes. That old dog jumped up and took off after that big white rabbit, barking loudly, running wildly after the big white rabbit. He chased that white rabbit with a passion over the hills and through the creek beds, and soon you could hear in the village all the other dogs joining him, attracted by his loud and excited barking. What a sight, this pack of dogs chasing through the village, through the yards, through the laundry, through the food baskets, up and down the stony embankments, across the open fields, into the bushes, into the branches and thorns. But gradually, all the dogs, one by one, dropped out of the pursuit of this rabbit, exhausted, tired, a little beaten up, definitely discouraged and frustrated. Only my dog continued the chase of that big white rabbit. And that, young man, is the answer to your question. Well, the young man thought about it for a while, as I did, and he said, Father, what is the connection between the rabbit being chased and the search for enlightenment? You fail to understand, said the old saint, because you fail to ask the right question. Why didn't the other dogs continue the chase? And the answer to that question is because only my dog had seen that big white rabbit. Maybe the other dogs caught a scent, or maybe they just got caught up in the barking and the excitement of the chase, but they didn't have the vision. They didn't have the experience of the big white rabbit. I love this story. I tell it almost every new year because the story reminds us that unless we are passionate about what we are after, the chase or the change is too difficult. Unless we have a clear understanding and experience and insight, a vision that pulls us forward, we will get frustrated. We may drop out, stop searching. We may give up on these New Year's declarations or intentions. If we are deciding to create changes to please someone else, our partner, our employer, our family members, our parents, we will lose heart. If we're just running with the pack, doing what the others do, we won't have our vision. And therefore, the determination and the passion and the creativity that it takes to commit to creating the changes in our lives. What happens in March when nobody's at the gym, right? They've lost the vision of themselves being stronger and healthier. When people stop dieting, they've lost the vision of themselves as healthier and happier. One of the reasons people stop any resolution is because they've lost the vision. So, first, I invite you to have a strong, clear vision. I mean, we need a big white rabbit. It's a new year, a new beginning. This is an amazing time to evaluate, discern, and determine what is no longer serving us in this new environment, this new year, in this new era of our lives. And what do we wish to do about it now? What do we want to create? When we have a clear understanding and vision of what we want, and it's always a version of more peace, more joy, more abundance, more health, more well being. It's always one of those when we become so inspired that we can stay the course even when the journey gets hard, even when everyone else is dropping out, even when our support system crumbles. We have the vision, that big white rabbit. We stay with it, even when we think we've lost our way. When the obstacles come up, and they will, we are stayed in our vision, in our passion. And what is inspired? We stay inspired. Inspired is in spirit. We stay enthused in Theos, in God. And we turn to that spirit, God, source within. We turn to source, to infinite possibilities. And we choose again a greater expression for us, for our lives in this new year. Spirit is always seeking a greater and greater expression of itself. Spirit is never still. It is never stagnant. It is never reversing or contracting. We can contract. The ego can decide to live in fear, but that is not spirit. Spirit knows nothing of contraction or fear. So we step into our natural state of being love, peace, joy, and a greater expression of these. And we move ourselves into a declaration of who we are being in this new year. And here's the good news. We don't actually have to wait for a big white rabbit to jump out and inspire us. We get to create our vision. We choose. What do we wish to experience this year? No one says no to more health. No one says no to more wealth, better relationships, more creativity, more wisdom, more clarity. We can turn within. These are God qualities. These are our inherent nature. And when we turn within to become inspired, we see a vision of ourselves living more fully, more completely as spirit, integrating mind and body. We make it real in our lives. We realize our new declarations. Are we ready for our highest vision? I mean, are we really ready to do what it takes to be the presence of abundance, to experience more abundance? Are we willing to stay the course to experience more health and vitality and energy in our lives, to become present to a greater and greater expression of our good? We all know, I mean know with our heart and our mind what it is we could do for ourselves, how we could eat, how we could better spend our time in achieving more health, more wealth, more well being, more satisfactory relationships, more communion and community. When we turn within, we stand in that kingdom of heaven. It is within, it is at hand now. It is our natural state of being, and it is always inspired and inspiring. We become that. We are inspired in spirit. And that vision, that big white rabbit of the truth of our being shines forth so brightly. It burns. It is like this light lighting up the way, even as these things outside, the stock market or the interest rates or the call on the loan or the employees walking out, even as this darkness kind of moves closer and closer, instead of contracting, we expand into the light of being our declaration, who we are declaring ourselves to be now. Not last week, last month, last year, now. We are in the state of conscious creating. We let go of that sense of who we think we are, confined in this body, in this time, with our past. We let go of precedents. We let go of what has come before, our limited ideas. our emotional history, our memories, our attachments to the things that make us small. We let go of our attachments to the things that we think give us security, that false sense of security, and we step into newness, which I'm going to say feels uncomfortable. That's how you know you're stepping into what is unknown. The known is always comfortable. The known is where we've been. The known is the past. If we want to create a new future, an inspired future, we stand in the inspiration now. We release the past now. All the relationships, all the history, all the things that have previously defined us, we release the limitations we have set on those and we step into wholeness, a oneness with life. We create something new. That old dog, he could have sat on the porch when that rabbit popped up. He could have remembered all the other times he had chased a rabbit or a squirrel and not caught it. He could have stayed comfortable, secure on that warm, cozy porch. But then he wouldn't have had the great adventure and there'd be no story. We're like that. We want to be comfortable. We want to stay, just laying there in our little place in the sun. But where's the adventure in that? Let's get up and move things around, shake it up. Go chase a rabbit or two. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm into this year. Who's with me? We can't just sit on the porch and have our bellies rubbed, or at least not all the time. When we connect with spirit, with all that there is, God, source, presence, awareness, we live in that place of inspiration. We can turn to it at any minute, at any time, during any day, regardless of what is going on, regardless of what the news channels are saying, regardless of what our kids are saying, regardless of what the parents are saying, regardless of what the economic indicators are saying. Don't you know? Spirit, source, presence as you is so much bigger than anything out there. And every time we meditate, we vision with this purpose, not so that we don't experience what is out there, but so that we bring that sense of peace and power and inspiration to the events and situations and circumstances in our life. In this moment right now, spirit, life, all that there is never been bound by precedent. It's never been bound by our past or any past, any previous choice. So we step out of everything that has bound us and we become free. We've always been free. And now we choose to create that which allows us to experience our freedom even more. We envision the changes we wish to see. We embody the changes we wish to see. We intently feel them as if they are happening right now, because they are. As soon as we breathe into them, they are happening right now, in this moment. And we can feel the inspiration fill us up. This is our white rabbit. Everything we need is held inside that vision. We don't need to know how. We don't need to know when. We don't need to make it happen through the sweat of our brow, but we will be called to do, to take action. Everything we need for this vision to unfold, including the inspiration for action, it is held within the vision itself. This is why it's so important. That big white rabbit. Ah, can you feel it? I invite you right where you are to just take this moment, if you can, or when you can, to close your eyes, breathe, and just allow yourself to connect with Source, Spirit, all that there is. And know that right where you are is infinite possibilities. Right where you are is every opportunity. And right where you are, all the support that you need to live these possibilities, to act on these opportunities, is within you now. All the support you need is right where you are now. We can only claim our good now in this moment, right now. This good is available to us in this eternal moment. And now is the only time we can say, yes, I accept. I accept right now. Anytime we've forgotten our vision, our good, our white rabbit, we can just turn within and remember and claim it once more. Let's choose again to experience our highest good. So I invite you this week to take some time in stillness and in silence. And instead of imposing what you think you want out of this new year, allow yourself, that's capital S, self, to inform you of how the possibilities of you expanding into this new you. Create some declarations using the phrase, I am. And then put your vision after that. I am healthy, healthier than I've ever been. I am available for the inner guidance of wisdom and spirit. I am grateful as spirit expands as me in my life. I am enthusiastic as I move through my life. My invitation for you is to do something different this year. Instead of creating a New Year's resolution, let's turn within and create a New Year's inspiration. The big white rabbit. Take your time and become inspired in stillness, in silence. Connect with your breath and your breathing and allow this inspiration to well up in you. And let's carry this vision of our greatest expression into tomorrow and next week and next year. And we'll use declarations, I am statements, to really anchor who we are being in this new year, to anchor that vision of the big white rabbit. I'm Elizabeth Cantey, and I hope that this vision and these declarations for this new year fills you up and allows you to laugh even more, love even greater, and live enlightened every single day. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe. And share it with a friend. Maybe they're ready to create their big white rabbit. I know I am.